A massive primetime television broadcast culminates in a historic upset, but the real headline isn't the champion holding the trophy. It's the sudden, controversial ousting of the night's definitive frontrunner. In May 2026, the finale of America's premier vocal competition concluded not with universal celebration, but with an unprecedented wave of public fury that has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. Keyla Richardson, a powerhouse vocalist who had dominated the leaderboards and captivated millions week after week, was abruptly eliminated in third place, leaving a stunned studio audience and an outraged digital viewership demanding immediate answers. From our entertainment news desk, we are tracking an administrative fallout that looks less like a standard reality television exit and more like a full-scale corporate crisis. Within minutes of the broadcast's conclusion, major social media platforms experienced historic traffic spikes as millions of viewers openly questioned the validity of the final results, alleging that one of the most gifted vocalists in the show's history had been prematurely forced off the stage. Network executives have remained tightly uncommunicative behind closed doors, refusing to release the official analytical data behind the regional tallies, which has only added fuel to an explosive public relations firestorm. The immediate public reaction marks a massive cultural shift where audiences are no longer passively accepting televised outcomes, turning this specific elimination into a scrutinized media event that raises serious questions about transparency, audience manipulation, and the mechanics of modern entertainment monopolies. Music critics and industry insiders are fiercely divided over whether a last-minute creative gamble on stage was a brilliant display of artistic range or a fatal miscalculation by production. To understand the catalyst for this massive drop in numbers, our reporting team dissected the specific arrangements from the final broadcast evening, where Keyla delivered a highly polarized setlist that completely fractured her core voting demographic. She opened the evening with a staggering, technically flawless execution of Whitney Houston's iconic "I Love the Lord," reinforcing her status as an elite gospel prodigy, but it was her subsequent performance of Alicia Keys' contemporary hit Un-Thinkable that triggered intense debate. While one half of the music industry praised the performance as a masterclass in modern commercial versatility, a vocal contingent of purists claimed the sudden stylistic departure felt forced by network producers looking to fit her into a specific pop mold. Internal production sources indicate that song selection meetings during the final week were incredibly tense, with creative directors pushing for a mainstream crossover appeal that may have ultimately alienated traditional viewers who supported her authentic roots. This stark division in audience reception created a critical vulnerability in her voting bloc, demonstrating how even a minor shift in musical direction on a live broadcast can completely derail an otherwise unstoppable trajectory in a matter of minutes. The standard corporate damage control is completely shattered when a raw, unfiltered public statement from inside the artist's family exposes deep-seated frustrations with the network system. The narrative shifted from a standard competitive disappointment to an explosive institutional conflict when the singer's mother, Keyla Richardson, bypassed all standard non-disclosure agreements and public relations filters to issue a blistering statement directly to the public. Utilizing her personal social media channels, she openly declared that her daughter had been outright robbed on national television, an emotional and direct accusation that completely bypassed the network's carefully managed media narrative. This raw statement acted as a massive catalyst online, instantly tracked by major news outlets and amplified across TikTok, X, and Instagram by millions of supportive fans who felt their own voices had been silenced by the corporate voting structure. Entertainment legal analysts note that such explicit public statements from a contestant's immediate family are incredibly rare due to the strict legal ramifications embedded in network contracts, signaling that the frustrations behind the scenes had reached an absolute breaking point. The viral post effectively shifted the public perception, transforming the artist from a simple third-place contestant into a symbol of artistic resistance against a perceived flawed corporate machine. Behind the dazzling studio lights and manufactured suspense lies a grueling, high-stakes journey fueled by personal sacrifice and a mother's determination to alter her family's trajectory. Our background investigation into Keyla's 2026 campaign reveals a narrative deeply rooted in professional resilience, as she entered the mainstream arena not as an unseasoned amateur, but as an established, hard-working gospel artist fighting for a massive industry breakthrough. Every single live performance was anchored by the visible presence of her young son, Drew, who became a central figure in the broadcast packages and served as the primary emotional motivation behind her grueling work schedule. Industry insiders familiar with the production schedule note that the physical and emotional toll of the multi-month competition is immense, requiring contestants to endure relentless rehearsal schedules, media tour, and wardrobe fittings while maintaining peak vocal health under extreme duress. For a self-made artist balancing the demands of single motherhood with the pressures of international television, the stakes could not have been higher, making her sudden, unceremonious elimination feel like a profound systemic failure to the millions of working-class families who saw their own struggles reflected in her journey. As digital forensic analysts examine the aftermath, massive allegations are surfacing regarding systemic platform glitches that may have compromised the integrity of the final vote count. In the days following the broadcast, consumer advocacy groups and data analysts began raising serious red flags concerning the network's digital voting infrastructure, pointing out severe regional server latencies that occurred during the peak 5-minute voting window. Massive online communities have mobilized to document thousands of verified user reports, claiming their text and app votes for Keyla were met with continuous error messages, or were processed only after the official window had slammed shut. Prominent online petitions have already gathered hundreds of thousands of digital signatures, formally demanding that the network commission an independent, third-party audit of the 2026 data logs to verify the true distribution of the audience's input. While network spokespeople maintain that the voting platform functioned within normal operational parameters, the total lack of transparency regarding specific numbers has allowed various technical theories to gain significant mainstream traction, highlighting a growing public distrust in the algorithmic systems that dictate modern cultural success. Industry veterans are stepping forward with a startling revelation. Falling short of the official victory might actually unlock the most lucrative path to global stardom. Despite the widespread panic and anger among her core fanbase, veteran music executives are urging a broader perspective, pointing directly to a well-established historical blueprint where talent show runners-up frequently eclipse the actual winners in commercial performance. Foremost among these templates is the legendary trajectory of Jennifer Hudson, who famously suffered a shocking, premature exit on the exact same stage decades ago, before transforming that defeat into an elite career, spanning Academy Awards, Grammys, and global syndication. Financial analysts suggest that by avoiding the restrictive, often predatory long-term recording contracts legally bound to the first-place winner, Keyla is now an elite free agent holding immense cultural leverage and a fiercely loyal, pre-built audience. Major independent labels and elite secular producers are reportedly already preparing substantial offers, recognizing that the massive publicity generated by this specific controversy has given her a level of market visibility that money simply cannot buy. Breaking her silence amid a whirlwind of media speculation, the vocalist has released an official statement that effectively rewrites the narrative of her televised defeat. Addressing her rapidly expanding global audience through an official press release, Keyla entirely bypassed the surrounding negativity and corporate finger-pointing, expressing profound gratitude for the platform while signaling an aggressive pivot toward her independent professional future. She made it explicitly clear that the conclusion of the televised tournament was merely an introductory chapter, confirming that she is already back in high-level studio sessions preparing original material that reflects her true, uncompromised artistic identity. The strategic brilliance of her response has effectively neutralized the victim narrative, repositioning her not as a casualty of a corporate system, but as an empowered, independent mogul poised to dominate the mainstream music industry on her own terms. Ultimately, the network may have retained the physical trophy, but the cultural capital, the unyielding loyalty of the public, and the defining headlines of the 2026 season belong entirely to her, proving that a calculated exit can become the ultimate launchpad for a legendary career.